to the Gal for Kids show. It's been quite a while since we've been with you. And I think our last show that we did, Miss Casi was on our show. Hey, Casi, could you turn your phone down for us?
Yeah, I'm trying to stream our show live right now. I was trying to figure out how to set that
That's
up,
what we heard.
I think it just started. So
we heard our show is streaming live on Facebook. And if she shares that, then it can share live on our Facebook. And somewhere along the line, see, there's our link to our Facebook page. Yeah. So, even though we can't listen to it, though, at the same time we do the show.
No, we should probably turn that off.
Yes. All right, so anyway, back to it's been a while. It's been a while. But I think the last show that we were able to do, Casi was our guest, and Casi wore the same outfit she's wearing today. Yes. We just want to make sure we point that out. Yeah. She has done laundry since May, so we're good, right? So we had some issues with a few months in here, and but we're back. And the purpose of doing this show is not only so that I can torture my fellow attorneys that are in the program with me, but also so that we can communicate and we can educate the public, and so that you can watch our show and you can understand more of what it is that we do, so you can decide, is this program something that you could do with us? So what I want to talk about today, we're going to talk about several little things today, but first of all, our program, well, first of all, I guess I should introduce myself. I'm Shelley Haymaker. I'm the director of the Hamilton County Gal CASA program. Our program has been in existence since 1998, but we are getting it bigger and better every year. And joining me today on the program then is Miss Adele Wood, or we call her Addie, unless we're mad at her, and then we call her Adele Ann. So Miss Addie Wood is with us. Thank you. She is one of the attorneys that is in the program that would represent the people out there that are listening to this show or wanting to be more educated about what we do and come through our training. She's one of the attorneys that would represent you in court. And on the other side of me is Miss Casi Nelson, also known as Cassandra Jean when we're mad at her.
Yes.
And Miss Casi is also with our program, and she comes to also represent anybody out there who goes through our training, becomes a volunteer, and who works with children who are alleged to be abused or neglected. Or we work with juvenile delinquents. So those are the kinds of cases, if you came through our program and did our training, that you would be handling. So let's talk about that for just a little bit. Our program trains you, lay people from the community. There's no particular education or background that you have to come through our training. So you do not have to be a lawyer yourself. You do not have to be somebody with a degree in child behavior. You do not have to be somebody with a degree in teaching. You can have any kind of a background and still come through with us. Now, if you have a criminal background, probably not the best thing to come through with us, but that's beside the point. So we train people from our community to be the voice of the child in the court system. And typically, you are going to be representing kids, like I said, who have been alleged to be involved in cases that involve abuse or neglect with no fault of their own. So somebody who's been in charge of them, whether it be a parent, a guardian, whoever, somebody in charge of them has done something that has been neglectful or abusive to the child, and then the child, through no reason of their own, comes into our court system. The other types of cases that you might be involved in would be a juvenile delinquency case. Now, those kids are coming through our court system because of something that they have done, typically, whether it is breaking what would be laws if they were 18, whether it be running away, being truant from school. There are lots of reasons why juvenile delinquents get brought through our court system here. And you could also be a voice for that child. Now, unfortunately, a lot of our juvenile delinquents, I used to tease and say, I just want a normal delinquent. I just want a child who thinks they can get away with something and they get caught. But unfortunately, a lot of our kids that come through our program and through our system have a lot of other issues, such as mental health issues that they're fighting and dealing with. So that's kind of what leads to some of their other trouble that they get into. But what would happen with you is if you became a volunteer with us, you would learn the skills and different things that you can do, that you would be able to go in and talk to the child, go in and investigate a case, and kind of figure out what you think would be best for this child in the court system. So that's what we train you to do. So far in this year, through today's date, our program has advocated for 72 new children who have come into our court system through abuse, neglect, or delinquency. And then carried over from years prior, we had 200 children that we've advocated for this year. So we've advocated so far for a total of 272 children with just those types of cases. The reason why people out there are so important to get involved with our case is because right now we have 18 children who are waiting for their own advocate. So they're waiting for somebody like you to come through training and to come in and be the voice for them in court. And so with that in mind, I don't have the full schedule yet, but we are going to do a new training. It is going to begin the week of October 24th. It will last usually for a 3-week span, and it's typically through the evenings during those 3 weeks, starting the week of October 24th. You must be at least 21 years of age to go through and be a guardian ad litem volunteer. You must submit to various criminal and child protection background checks. So back to that, what I said earlier, if you have a criminal background, it may not work for you to do this type of program. Now, if you have a criminal background that's been way in your past, did not involve children, then that's not necessarily going to be a stopper for you. But if you have a criminal background that's been very recently or does involve a child, then this program wouldn't be for you, since we have to go into court and advocate for children. So just so you know. You have to complete our training. The training that begins that week of October 24th is a 32-hour training session. So that's why it's for several evenings during that 3-week span. And you must be committed to remaining on any case that you might get from beginning to end. So with a couple things in mind, now, Miss Casi.
Yes.
Just recently, just this month, you became, what's our technical term? The technical and social media coordinator?
Yes.
So not only is she gal attorney extraordinaire, but she's also now in charge of, because I'm old and she's not, the social media and the technical procedures of our program. So from that, now, since you've done what for us?
We have created a new Facebook program, which you can find by searching the Hamilton County Gal/CASA program, or by going to facebook.com/HAMCO Gal program, HAMCOGAL program. We have created an online survey to survey some people that are currently using our guardian ad litem program. We have done some updates on the website and will continue to do so. And we are getting more involved on being on Facebook and Twitter and other social media accounts. So
now you also are in charge, because I never could figure this part out, right, of revising and taking care of our website.
Yes.
So why don't you tell, I think that's probably shown on the screen as we go through our show, but our website can be found as well at www.hamcogalprogram.com,
Yes,
I think.
that's correct.
All right, so here's what we want you to do, because we don't have the exact dates to put up on the screen today, and because you probably aren't sitting there with pen and paper ready to write all those dates down anyway, we will, as soon as the schedule gets finalized, we will be posting it to our website, we will be posting it to our Facebook account, probably should have a link even on our Twitter account, because we also have a Twitter account, people.
We do.
We are in the know, all right? We are catching up. One day I will not have my calendar on a paper calendar. I will actually probably have it on my phone, but not yet. All right, so once we get the schedule finalized, we will be posting it, because our training is coming up very soon, and we've had a lot of interest in becoming an advocate for kids.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, that's good, and I appreciate all that you've done.
Happy to do so.
That has been very much a huge help, because, like I said, I don't know how to do all this stuff, so it's been very nice to have some young blood come into the program who knows how to do that.
Just bringing us into this century, you know?
Okay, probably not good to hit her on air, so I'll wait. All right, now, not only is Casi, she's taken on these extra duties, okay, besides being an attorney. Miss Addie as well. Not only is she guardian ad litem attorney extraordinaire, but she's also taken on some new duties starting this month. And her duties are going to be what?
Training, a monthly training for our volunteers.
So not only do you get to go through 32 hours of initial training, but you also get...
You get me.
What, monthly?
Well, I mean,
I come with the package. They both come with the package, folks. Oh my word. All right,
Okay,
so
anyway,
now
back to
you're
that training.
back to training
Back to
monthly,
that,
all right?
yeah.
Because once you become a volunteer, you don't want to be out of touch. You want to be able to continue with your training. You want to be able to come in and see other volunteers on a monthly basis. You want to be able to connect. You don't want to just be kind of feeling like you're out there all on your own and not having sort of backup and support. So the program does do a monthly training on top of the initial training that you do. And so when do you think you'll be starting that, Missy?
hopefully next week.
Oh, next week.
Yeah, because it's September, the end of September.
So it'll either be September, it could be October that the first training will be
Maybe,
happening.
yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean anything for you right now because you have not come through our training yet. But once you come through our training, then you just need to know that we do provide additional services and additional monthly training so that you, like I said, you don't feel all left out there.
Although there could be some of our current volunteers that are watching now. So
Hey, if you're watching,
yes.
hey, current
Hey,
volunteers.
yeah, thanks
Glad
for
you're
having
joining
me.
us.
Yeah,
Yes, come to training
Yes.
whenever it is she decides
I'll
to
let y'all
schedule
know.
it, okay?
And we will also post that on our Facebook and our Twitter and our website.
Because why? Because we're here in the new century. All right, now, before I forget again, because technically I was supposed to do this at the beginning, but you never know when I'll throw this in. We would like to give a special thanks to our show sponsors today for having us, Logan Street Signs and Banners. They specialize in last-minute signage and banners, which seems appropriate for attorneys because we're always last minute. And then Noblesville Trophies, and they offer a large range of products, including sports trophies, corporate awards. Ooh, corporate awards. You should give me a corporate award.
should get some
All right.
of those.
And in-house embroidery. Oh, we need that too. Okay, so we just want to make sure that they are recognized for letting us come in and intrude on their space each month to do our show to bring this to you guys. All right, so we've talked about training, we've talked about it upcoming, and we've talked about a little bit about what we do. Now, as I mentioned, Miss Casi is with us. She was on the show in May of this year, and that's because she just started with our program in May of this year. In May of last year, ironically, Addie started with our program. So because of that now, you both have had a little bit of experience with the program. So I have a few questions for you.
Good.
All right.
Awesome.
So, see, they keep trying to cheat and look at all my questions, and I'm not like that. I tell them to go away. All right. So,
They're going for you first.
all right. So I would like to know what the best part about your job has been so far. And you can think a minute while you think.
I can go.
You go. She doesn't even need time to think because we're that
Well, I
good.
have
We're
something
that
that fresh. For me, really, it's been making a difference, which I really feel like I have in a lot of different aspects. You know, one particular case comes to mind, and you know, where had our program not been involved, there might not have been as great of an outcome for this child and even for this mother who was going through some domestic violence and felt trapped in her home. So, you know, we were able to get in there and, you know, help her get to a safe place and bring, you know, some of those things to the attention of the court, and we really made a difference in that family. So it's been, you know, close to my heart. I love being a child advocate and, you know, helping these families move forward through some troubling times.
So that's awesome because you didn't do a lot of the child advocate work in your prior job.
No.
So this has kind of been a new experience for you and kind of see this side of things.
Yes.
All right. Did you come up with anything in that time?
Well, I mean,
You don't get to cheat.
I know.
All right. You
I
have
know
to have
that's
something
similar. Yeah, I love making a difference, and for families, but also children too, because these kids need stability and permanency. And I think our program comes in and we help push that along, and make sure that what is happening for them is what's in their best interest, not based on some policy or procedure of what's supposed to happen, because every situation is different. And so there have been a number of cases where I've left feeling that we just gave that child a chance, or a better future, because of our advocates and because of our volunteers and because of our program. So it is really rewarding, and for people who want to make a difference in the life of a child, being an advocate in this capacity is a great way to do it.
Right, and you have mentioned, I know, even on the show before, but when you talk about consistency,
yes,
you've talked about us being what?
We are, a lot of times, the only person on the case from start to finish. These kids go through case managers, through DCS, they go through therapists, foster homes. I mean, you name it, they've probably had multiple of those, but we work really hard to make sure that the volunteer that's assigned to the case from the beginning is the one who's there at the end, because we are the only ones typically who are on it from the start to finish. And that's come into play a number of times in court where, we've been 15, 18 months down the road and no one except the guardian ad litem is the one who was on the case in the beginning, and we were able to clear some things up for the court by pointing to some documents because we knew what had happened, but no one else knew, and it wasn't they were trying to pull anything over. It's just no one knew except the volunteer.
No one knew as well,
right?
Except the volunteer who had been there from the beginning,
right?
Because it's kind of hard to come in on a case after a case has been going 15 or 18 months and go back and figure out everything that's happened prior.
Right.
So the nice thing about, when we say, and one of the things I said, if you want to go through training, I think one of my last requirements was be committed to remaining on the case to the end. And right there is why. Because if our case is going, and sometimes these cases do last a long time. If the case is going 15 or 18 months and you are the only person, you and your attorney, who've been involved in that case at every court date for every month, whatever's going on in that case, there is going to be stuff that you will know that maybe somebody else hadn't picked up on or didn't remember over the course of those months. So that's why it's so important for you to be committed to what it is that you do. Now, I do want to go back on a few terms because we're used to using guardian ad litem or gal a lot, and we're the Gal for Kids show. I want you to know, though, a gal is a guardian ad litem, and I think that's already up on the screen. I don't even have my glasses on. I can see that. All right, and then a CASA is a court-appointed special advocate, and those terms are used now interchangeably. So just because we're referring to gals or guardian ad litems doesn't mean we're forgetting our CASAs. They're the same thing as far as our courts are concerned. It used to be where if you were a gal, you had to have a law degree, being a practicing attorney, and it's not like that anymore, at least in our state. So, but that's why we're just used to the word gal more than anything. So I don't want you to be confused as to who. Yeah, the gal / CASA. What's a CASA? Now you know. All right. Back to you, ladies. Okay, so I asked you about the best part. Now, of course, what's the worst part?
Well, that's the easiest. Seeing some of the trauma that these kids go through, whether it's abuse or neglect. And we're fortunate that a lot of the cases that we see, there's a lot of drugs. Yes, there are drugs here in Hamilton County. And so the children typically are abused to the point where people think, but occasionally we'll get a case where the child, it's just awful. And I guess it makes us truly love what we do and want to advocate them much harder.
I think it just opens our eyes to the importance of what it is that we do sometimes. Because when we have to see the really bad cases and we have to see the really tough stuff, I think we kind of get in a groove. We have another drug case, we say, here we go again. Some more families that, cannot beat the addiction, and so their kids have to be removed from the home. And I think we kind of get used to those kinds of cases, or we might have a dirty house case, or we might have parents not getting their kids to school, just kind of those things we get used to. Then when we have something that's harder that hits us, whether it is that there's a child that's lost a life, or a child who's very sick, or a child who is going through more abuse or neglect than what we're used to seeing, I think that kicks us every now and then. That's kind of why our sense of humor is the way that it is. It's our fighting mechanism our survival mode that we go into. But it makes us more aware that this is why what we do is so important. So do you have anything on that to add?
I mean, I would have to agree. It's just
I can't even yell at you on that one, can I? And
No,
say,
I
you have to
mean
come up with something different.
No, I mean, seeing what we see and, all the reports that come through and, meeting these kids and some of the families and, some of the situations are really tough. So we do see some crazy things.
Yeah. All right, then. Because we have 18 kids right now without a volunteer to come and advocate for them. What is it that you guys do when we do not have an advocate? And I'll let either one of you take that one.
Well, I'll go. We monitor it, and that we keep in contact with the case manager with DCS and try to go see the child. We try to do the best we can, but know that they need that advocate. So we try to keep up to speed, but can't do as much as our volunteers do, just simply because we don't have the time to put into it. But we know what's going on. So going out and seeing them and just keeping in the loop of reports.
And what's helpful and what she means by that as far as time. Typically, if you come through training and you take a case, we do not make you take more than one case. Now, later, after you've gone through a few cases and you're more comfortable, we might suggest that maybe you want to take more than one case. But at the very get-go, we just ask you to take one case. So when you consider your one case versus you guys are representing at least 50 families. That's not 50 kids.
Right.
You're representing more than 50 kids each, but you're representing at least 50 cases. That involves more than that for the kids. They're doing that. You have one, and it makes it a lot easier for you to find the time to talk to everybody and to go out to people's homes and to go see the child than it is for when they have to do the case and they're also trying to represent all the other volunteers on their cases. So just so you understand, it's not that we don't want to take the time. It's just we physically don't have enough time, and that's where volunteers are so important, because if we didn't have volunteers, there is no way that this program would run, because we definitely don't have enough money in our budget to pay attorneys to go do this all the time. That's why it's so important to have the volunteers. All right, so we're getting very, very close.
I know.
I mean, 24 minutes flew today, guys.
Guys, we're having fun.
All right, so I do want to, though, touch on another set of cases like we talked about. Drugs are in Hamilton County, but Addie, I know you have done a majority of our sex trafficking cases that we've had come through.
Yes.
So yes, Hamilton County, we do have sex trafficked cases here in dealing with young girls. These are not adults that we're dealing with. We don't deal with the adults. We are dealing with kids.
Right.
And so those add a more to the plate as far as kind of paying attention to those cases. I want to say paying attention, but the services. They have a little bit different services.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, gang, we hope that you enjoyed our show today. We enjoyed getting back in the saddle so that we hopefully will not be gone as long as we have been these last few months. I have very much enjoyed having these two attorneys on board to work with me, because it's been a really crap morning and they make things a lot better. And again, I do want to thank our sponsors again, Logan's Street Signs and Banners and Noblesville Trophies, for letting us come in. I don't want you to think that I'm saying again, and I missed that I said it several times. All right, so check us out. Come back next month. Have a great month, and we will see you. Bye.
Bye.